Okay. By way of explanation, you should be reading many books on this, but one text is probably enough. And what I'd like you to do now, first, before you do it, I want to tell you one more thing, and that is about this the scientific method and it being what is called an epistemology. I could have assigned you books about science and the philosophy of science, because after all, what you're getting is a PhD, a doctorate of philosophy, and so the philosophy has to be in there somewhere. It's going to be in the scientific method, believe it or not. The philosophy that we are doctors, or you will be a doctor in, is the science of the philosophy of learning. This particular type of learning, is the scientific method. You learned it when you were in high school, when you had to do science fair, if you had to do science fair, and you're going to be learning it in a socially scientific way in this course. That said, there are other ways of knowing, and I actually think that Rubin and Babby have a very nice discussion of this in Chapter 1 of your textbook. I don't think it matters if you've got the 6th edition or the 2nd edition. I basically have those two at home, so I could answer your questions if they were coming from those two editions, which is why I put them on the syllabus. But frankly, I don't care where you learn this stuff, but I do want you to find somewhere in a textbook what these other ways of knowing are. I will just give them over to you and right now, and then I'll ask you to discuss them in a minute. But there's common sense. That's a nice way of knowing things. There's relying upon authority. I'm an authority. You're going to be relying on me. Better wonder about that. There's something called holding on to tradition and ideology. That's a way of knowing, getting things from your parents because they heard them from their parents. I have a rabbi who tells us that the reason we should believe in the 5 books of Moses is that our fathers were told by their fathers, who were told by their fathers, and mothers, please, and mothers also, who were told by their parents, who were told by their parents, until nobody can remember where it began, except that they're thinking it was maybe 1,500 to 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, the stories that you learn in the Bible. So this is relying on tradition and ideology. That's another way of knowing. We also learn from the media and from the newspapers. These are also popular sources. These are sometimes very good sources. You're going to be learning to critique them, actually, based upon how well they are able to address our doubts about the subject matter. That tends to be what this is all about. It's about addressing doubts in, well, why do you think that? Well, how'd you get that? Where did they learn that? That's what social science is. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is what you're going to be doing in your classes when I'm with you over the internet. And you're going to, I would like to ask you to talk among yourselves and note why these other ways of knowing. You should find them. Take 5 minutes. Look in your chapter, the first chapter of your book. I think it's the first chapter, and find different ways of knowing things other than the scientific method. Write them down and discuss among yourselves why you think they are inferior, or if you think they're superior, then you've got your right, to your opinion. You're wrong, but it's okay. You've got your right, and we'd love to hear it. I don't mean to make fun of anybody. Please forgive me. It's not a joke. But talk about why you think they are inferior or superior, probably, to the scientific method. At least why your author thinks so. And we're going to talk about your answers next class. You'll have the answers as a group. I'll give you the option of during your quizzes of using the group grade, or maybe you want to go on your own. Maybe you want to venture your own guesses after quizzes. At any rate, you want to be able to discuss with me next time this topic, because some of your grade is based on class participation. And you'll look it up in the syllabus exactly how much. I can't remember. But, okay, take about 15 minutes, talk among yourselves, think of some arguments for or against the other ways of knowing. And I'll get back to you in a little bit.